Welcome in everybody to the Pony Sports DTX membership interview series, and we're excited to interview one of our featured partners, Isaiah Nwokobia. Welcome in, Isaiah. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Isaiah, how was spring ball?
I feel like spring ball went good. For me, it was just about learning the defense, learning a whole new scheme. Getting to know the coaches. Seeing where I fit in. But I feel like it was successful because I was able to learn two different positions.
So, talk to me. We'll get to the two different positions in a little bit because that was actually a question I had for you. But tell me a little bit about you were under Coach Dykes last year. Now you're under Coach Lashley. What are some of the noticeable differences between their two approaches, between the old staff and the new staff?
I mean, I feel like that's a great question. As far as differences, Coach Lashley is a little bit more involved with the practices as far as, but it's hard to find differences because they were both, pretty good coaches. They both cared about the players, and I'm still getting to know Coach Lashley, but I feel like he's doing a wonderful job, and I know he really focusing on, how to get to know us individually and figure out exactly how we're gonna gel as a team and focus on just having that team like atmosphere because he realized how important that is for us to, being a winning program.
That's great. And you've probably maybe noticed a little more since you work with them on a close day-to-day basis, but tell me about Coach Navar and kind of how he's maybe a little different than Coach Haverty or some things that stand out
Yeah.
to you about him.
Yeah, Coach Nav, he's definitely a little more serious, and but he's about his business, which Coach Haverty was as well too. But they're kind of just similar, as far as character wise. Haverty was a little more laid back, but they both are great coaches. Haverty's a great coach, as well as Coach Navar is, and Coach Navar is one of those guys. He's going to really dig into you. He's going to get on you a lot, but I know it's just because he cares and he believes in us and he knows we can be great players.
That's great. So you mentioned a little bit about new defensive scheme. Tell me if I'm wrong, but it's now 5 defensive backs on the field, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're playing with a lot of speed and agility on the field. We got the 2 corners, and then obviously got 2 corners, but then you got 2 safeties, and we're playing with a lot of nickel. So yeah, we got 3 safeties on the field, the nickel, the boundary, and the free safety. And I feel like the scheme is really going to help us a lot this year because we got more speed on the field, more coverage. So I feel like it's really going to help us.
Absolutely. So yeah, you mentioned you were playing 2 spots. Which 2 spots they have you playing?
Uh, I started the spring out playing some free safety, and I rotated to some boundary safety as well. They wanted me to learn both the way I could be able to help the team in whatever way possible, whatever they need me to play. I'm gonna be excited to play it. So I feel like the spring was successful because I was able to learn these positions. That way, whenever the fall comes, I'll be able to, play either one of them, whatever they need me to play.
That's great. So tell me a little bit about who's been I know you're rotating between the two, and maybe a lot of guys are rotating, but who's been playing primarily at free safety along with yourself?
Brian Masters has been playing primarily free safety. He's doing a heck of a job.
Yeah, Brian's a very talented player like yourself, and I think it was in the spring game you were playing more boundary safety.
Yes, sir. Spring game, I was playing more boundary. He was playing more free, and then we had Brandon Crossley at the nickel. He's a tremendous player. He's a great athlete. Crossley and Massey is.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty dynamic trio of you guys right there. And on the boundary, who else is kind of rotating in at the boundary safety spot?
Chase Cromartie. He's a great player, great instincts, and
Mhm.
Isaiah Kelly. He's getting some burn in there too. He's looking really good. So I feel like we got a good rotation going, and we're all competing very hard to, just have the best defense we could possibly have this year.
Yeah, and so do you notice a difference in the overall? I think you said you did to an extent, but tell me about the difference between the overall scheme between what you had under Coach Levitt and now that you have under Coach Simons. Is it a more aggressive scheme? It seems like there's a lot more emphasis on speed on the field, but tell me about what you noticed the maybe differences in their defensive schemes and mentalities are.
Yeah, it's for sure, no doubt. It's a lot more speed on the field. With Coach Levitt, we ran a 3-4 defense, but now we're running a 4-2-5. We I just feel like with this new defense, we just switch it up a little bit more. We run 4-2-5, but we also have packages with the 3-4 as well. And so I just feel like we switched it up a little bit more, and we play with more speed on the field, a lot more than we did in leverage defense. So. Uh, but we have so many different coverages that we only been with these new coaches for a short period of time, but we've learned so much. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's just a lot of more mixing it up we're gonna be doing. We got some blitzes, pressure, three deep stuff, two deep stuff. So it's just we
Mhm.
just really getting a lot of stuff put in. That way during the off season we can really learn it and really, really understand it even more. That way when the fall comes, we'll know it like the back of our hand. But right now we just get like the basics now. But I feel like it's just a lot more versatile. The defense is more versatile this year.
No, that's definitely good to hear. And so, what are some of the things that you're just personally working on the most over the off
Uh,
season to make sure you're in the best position for the fall?
Yeah, in the offseason, my biggest thing, number one on my priority list right now is just learning the defense. That way I can see things, react faster, just play fast because learning especially when you're young, you're learning a new defense. Oftentimes you think a little bit more. So I'm trying to just figure out, learn the defense as much as possible. That way I can just react.
Tell us a little about the weight program you have now under Coach Grizz. I know Coach Kaz is obviously an excellent strength coach, but tell us a little bit about Coach Grizz. I mean, all y'all look pretty good out there, so y'all looks like y'all have had a pretty productive off season in the weight room.
Yeah, Coach Kaz was great. He was tremendous, but Coach Grizz is as well. You know what I'm saying? He had us working real, real hard in the winter and the winter workouts. And those workouts were no joke. I remember we were just pushing our bodies to the limit almost. It felt like every day, and I feel like it paid off in the spring. Like you said, guys look really, really good out there. Guys are moving around well. So I feel like things are going good with Coach Grizz. He puts a lot of time and effort into making sure we're in the best possible shape we could be in.
Great. Now, personally, how's your hammy feeling? I know you had at the end of the year it was a little tight. Is everything
Yeah.
back to 100%?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I've been working with Coach Grizz on just making sure it stays right, and just it's about just staying on top of it. But it's been feeling good.
Awesome. So, if you maybe give me on this one two names on each side of the ball, but if there were two guys that you'd say, or because I know yourself as a young player played quite a bit last year, but if there were two guys you'd say maybe are breakout candidates on offense and on defense, I know you could probably name five, but if you had two on each side of the ball, who would you kind of say has kind of impressed you as being like, wow, so and so is really playing now?
Well, I got to name my boy Roger Daniels. He was balling, and and for the other one, on the offense, I would have to be Record. I feel like Record's gonna break out this year. A lot of
Mhm.
people sleep on him; they don't really know him, but Record's gonna be special. I think he's probably top two fastest guy, one or two fastest guy on the entire team, and the offense has really been trying to utilize him. So I feel like he's gonna have a real breakout year. Him and Roger Daniels are gonna go crazy.
That's great. What about on defense?
Defense, as far as young guys, I feel like Bryson Morris is gonna have a great year. You know what I'm saying? He's
Mhm.
he's building up. I feel like he played great in the spring, and also let me see. Oh, Jaden Samuel, Jalen Samuels. I feel
Yeah.
like Samuels, he showed a lot in the spring. He has some sacks. He's aggressive. He played hard. He's probably, as far as running the ball, like unrelentless effort. He's up there with his motor is unbelievable. He plays so hard, and I feel like that's gonna take him a long way. So Bryce and Jaden, I feel like they're gonna have a real big spring. I mean, real big seasons this upcoming year.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Jalen, so that's
Yeah.
good. Well, tell us a little bit about just looking at the linebacker position. Who's kind of, I know that you lost a lot of guys at linebacker. Who's someone who, whether a young guy or vet, that's really stood out to take that leadership role, has really been that guy who's been the go-to guy at linebacker now.
I mean, that's a tough question because I feel like they've all played so well between Slade, Jimmy, Shannon. All three of those guys should have great seasons this year. And you can't forget about, Jaquan Burns. He had a little tweak in the spring, but there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to come in and he's going to produce and he's going to have a great season too. So I feel like we have a really solid group of linebackers and they're all going to produce this year. So that question is going to be special. Who really separates themselves? Because I feel like it's going to be close because they're all really talented.
Oh, that's good. And if you had to name one person, I know it's probably a hard one at corner who's really kind of had a heck of a spring, who would you isolate? I know I've heard a lot of names have done well. So, but if you had to just grab one that first pops to your mind.
I think I'm gonna go Armani Johnson. Yeah. I feel like he's a technician. He cares. He's always trying to put in the extra work, trying to focus on making sure his body's right, going the extra mile. I feel like his attention to detail is what's gonna cause him to have a great season this year.
I actually interviewed Armani yesterday, and yeah, it's talking to him now from talking back to 2019. He's definitely got a very veteran approach where I think
he's a vet. He's like a true vet. Yeah, no doubt. He's probably the biggest veteran on the defense, probably most likely.
Yeah, no, he's been through a lot of staffs, so he's got some experience there. And so, do you have any? Actually, before I get to that one, an interesting question for you. How's the quarterback competition looking? I've heard they both look pretty good.
That's a lot of people. People back home are always asking me, man, what's going on with the quarterbacks? I'm like, I don't know. I can't tell you, but I know both of those guys are slinging it. You know, Tanner looks great, you know what I'm saying? But Preston has made some amazing throws too. So I feel like it's still close right now, but both of those guys have been balling.
That's great. That's great. And so for the 2022 season, have you set any goals yet for yourself personally? Or for
I just want to build on what I did my past seasons. I want to, you know what I'm saying, step up and become a leader on the defense throughout the season. I want to be able to be more vocal. I want to, of course, I just want to make more plays, make as many plays as possible. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, and I got a chance to do that with this new scheme.
That's great. And I don't know if I've asked you this one before, but it's just kind of an off-kilter question. Do you have any weird football superstitions?
Superstitions. I don't know. Sometimes if I wear a certain pair of gloves or a certain pair of cleats and I have a great game with those cleats, I'm gonna try to wear those cleats in those many games as possible.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. I've done that before. There's nothing wrong with that.
I feel like it may be just, I don't want to say good luck because, luck just comes from working hard, but I just like to feel, if I feel comfortable in a certain pair of cleats and I feel like, I play great in me, these feel great on my feet, they're comfortable, I'm going to wear those.
I had a good cut on that pick with these cleats, so I'm going to wear them again,
Yeah.
I got you. So I know you're still getting to know some of the new staff, but if you had to pick, who's the funniest coach on the new staff?
Funniest coach on the new staff? I think that's tough. I think Coach Cooper. He pretty funny. He pretty funny. Yeah.
Okay. Who would you say is the most serious coach?
Coach Niver, no doubt.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I got somebody else who said Coach Niver as well. I think I got one Coach Thibodeau as well. But
yeah. Because I've heard, I don't be around him as much because he's with D-line, but I've heard he's pretty serious too.
Okay. So who would you say would be probably the best dancer of any of the coaches on the staff?
Best dancer? I would say that's tough. I would gotta go with the young guy. I'm gonna go Coach Hall. Coach Keegan Hall. That's my dog. That's my dog for real.
Okay, Coach Hall. Yeah, I could see that. Who would you say be the worst dancer, probably?
Probably Coach Simons. I can't see him get there at all.
and finally, who would you say is probably the fastest and slowest coach on the staff?
Fastest coach, I'm gonna go Coach Herschel Walker. Slowest coach, I'm gonna have to go Coach Thibodeau. I feel like he can't really move around too well.
No, that's no shame there. He's a big boy, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we have here today with Isaiah. Isaiah, it's always a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you in 2022, and thanks for tuning in, everybody.
I appreciate you for having me, man. Pony up.